Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we have a highly specialized deep dive, one that's been tailored just for you, the learner.
Mm-hmm.
Because we are not just looking at a typical corporate battle for a promotion. We are dissecting a psychological battlefield.
That's a good way to put it.
And the weapons were incredibly precise. We're talking about password-protected HR logs, obsessively cataloged shirt colors, and these intense, silent staring contests waged across a single shared desk.
That's right. Our stack of sources gives us this, a rare, really intimate look into this particular conflict. It focuses on the intense, multi-year rivalry between two executive assistants, Lucy Hutton and Joshua Templeman.
Right.
And this is all happening inside the very volatile environment of a newly merged publishing giant, Bexley and Gammon, or B&G.
And this rivalry, it wasn't a standard, impersonal competition.
Yeah.
Our sources confirm this was intimate warfare waged across just a few square feet of office space.
Yeah,
The sheer level of detail they amassed about each other, it borders on surveillance.
it really does.
So, our core mission today is to figure out what happens when professional rivalry moves beyond competitive spreadsheets and becomes a full-blown, intimate, and frankly, obsessive psychological war.
And crucially, what secrets does that kind of extreme, sustained proximity inevitably reveal about the people involved?
Exactly. So let's unpack this fascinating high-stakes contest.
To really appreciate the intensity of the Lucy Joshua conflict, we have to start with the corporate environment, the volatile environment that created it.
Yeah.
The backdrop is, as one source colorfully puts it, an arranged marriage. And it's forced upon two companies that just couldn't be more philosophically opposed.
And the initial victim of this arrangement was Gammon Publishing, right? Lucy's original home.
Exactly. The source material paints a picture of a house that was nearly collapsing because, post-recession, people weren't really investing in literature anymore.
It had become, what was the phrase, a luxury item.
That's it, a luxury item. So Gammon was swallowed by the other half of the equation. The organization, Lucy's Perspective, labels the crumbling evil empire known as Bexley Books.
A crumbling evil empire.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, the merger essentially meant the romantic literary heart of publishing had to integrate with the ruthless finance-first mind of the corporation, all managed by the unbearable Mr. Bexley himself.
So the culture shock wasn't just administrative, it was philosophical. It was almost spiritual.
Oh, completely. Just think about the staff, the Gammon staff, the Gammons. They're described almost poetically as gentle doves in clock towers.
Gentle doves.
Their whole dedication was to finding and creating real literature. I mean, Shakespeare was literally their pinup boy.
And the atmosphere in their old office was like tactile and sensory. The sources say jasmine tea and paper.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
It's that cozy, creative ideal. Now, you compare that with the Bexleys. Their corporate culture is so brutally efficient, so devoid of personal warmth, that our sources note a birthday there is marked with the highly unromantic gift of a new calculator battery.
Calculator battery, that says everything. It's a culture that prizes utility over, humanity.
Exactly. And that transition was physically traumatizing for the Gammon employees. The new B&G office building itself is described in these almost cartoonishly negative terms.
What was it? A cheap gray cement toad.
A cheap gray cement toad squatting on a major traffic route. I mean, can you imagine?
It sounds just awful.
It's a physical symbol of the merger's misery. The Gammons were used to this cozy, fort-like desk culture, and suddenly they're thrust into this sterile, modern, unpleasant space.
Arctic in the morning, sweaty by the afternoon.
A constant physical discomfort that perfectly mirrored the mental friction of the whole culture clash. And right in the heart of this purgatory, as they called it, sits Lucy and Joshua, opposite each other.
And within that uncomfortable space, we find Lucy Hutton. And she seems to be driven by two key forces. First, her professional motivation. This deeply ingrained childhood dream, the revelation that you could be paid to find authors, read books, and ultimately create them.
Right, the dream job.
But then, equally, she's powered by just raw hostility. It's summarized by her immediate practical goal. I can't let Joshua win this.
And that hostility, it isn't just professional, it's an identity struggle.
Yeah.
And we see it symbolized right there on her desk.
The desk audit.
Yes, she initiates this painful desk audit. She admits her old Gammon desk was like a protective fort made of books filled with personality, but she felt incredibly childish next to Joshua's sterile efficiency.
So she professionalizes. She adopts this sterile adult setup. Red, black, and blue pens, pink Post-its, one tube of lipstick, a box of tissues. my planner.
It's a clear attempt to meet Joshua on his own battlefield, the battlefield of efficiency.
But the sources, they make a point of showing she can't fully sanitize her identity, can she?
No, not at all. She keeps the Smurf figurines. And later, we learned about the Smurfette package from her parents. These small, non-corporate items are signals that the wild little farm girl from her past is still there.
Just suppressed beneath the professional veneer.
Right, fighting to stay alive.
And that gammon loyalty, it carries immense emotional weight, which helps explain her laser focus on Joshua.
It does. Her former best friend and fellow gammon, Val Stone, was cut in the merger.
And Lucy carries this sick, troubled feeling, this guilt that she couldn't give Val a warning.
Even though she was contractually obligated not to. This is so critical. Her loyalty is strong and her guilt is high.
So she's channeling all that loss and disappointment from the entire gammon camp into her personal animosity toward Joshua.
Yes, who she views as the cold, unemotional henchman of the Bexley machine, the one responsible for that loss.
Right.
The professional rivalry is completely, intertwined with personal grief and this perceived moral offense.
Okay, so let's pivot to the henchman himself, Joshua Templeman. If Lucy's identity is defined by her attempts to hide her personality, Joshua's is defined by his intense, rigid predictability.
Oh, absolutely. And the defining feature that Lucy obsesses over is that notorious identical business shirt every day in a different color, worn in an unchanging sequence.
The level of detail she maintains about this shirt sequence is, it's really the first sign of their deep shared obsession.
It is. She has it cataloged. White, off-white stripe, cream, pale yellow, mustard, baby blue, robin's egg blue, dove gray, navy, and black. This is like a scientific data set to her.
And she has emotional responses to the data. She has favorites, the robin's egg blue, and least favorites, the disgusting mustard.
It's not casual observation. It's an emotional index of his daily wear.
So why do you think he maintains such a rigid, predictable routine, one that allows for this kind of detailed cataloging? Isn't that a vulnerability for someone who's so keen on control?
It's absolutely a vulnerability, but it's a necessary structure for him. For someone driven by high internal pressure and this need for control, predictability is safety.
Right.
The routine eliminates decision fatigue, and it provides a constant, sterile shield. He likely never, ever imagined anyone would be so meticulously cataloging his sartorial choices.
That level of attention is what signals she's not just a rival.
No, she's an active, chronic observer.
And his desk reflects that need for sterile control. It's the male version of her sterilized replacement. Blue Post-its. He has a sharp pencil. Instead of lipstick, he has a tin of mints.
It's minimalist. It's a Fort Knox, with locked drawers and a locked computer.
The locked computer is fascinating. Lucy is trying to suppress her gammon personality, while Joshua is actively suppressing something, some secret, some vulnerability.
Yes, exactly. His physical boundaries are literal. They mirror the emotional fortress he maintains around his inner life.
And Lucy's initial impression of him, it tells us everything we need to know about the mystery that fuels her curiosity. She struggles to describe him, and she ultimately settles on this Clark Kent analogy. Tall, strong, dressed meticulously to conceal his physique beneath those identical button-up shirts.
So she sees the professional shell.
But she knows there's a powerful mystery underneath, and that just fuels her curiosity and her competitive drive to crack the code.
So this constant, enforced proximity sitting face to face in this physically and culturally hostile office, it means neutral coexistence is impossible.
No way.
They are forced into this strange, codependent relationship defined entirely by ritualized daily conflict. They have to invent games to make the shared space bearable.
Let's start with the mirror game. Our sources detail how Joshua subtly copies every move Lucy makes on a slight time delay.
Which is incredibly unsettling.
It is. But here's the critical question. Is that calculated, deliberate psychological manipulation, or is it subconscious mirroring behavior, which is often a sign of deep connection or even attraction?
I think the power of the game lies in its ambiguity.
No, so.
Well, if it's calculated, it's a terrifying demonstration of dominance. He's showing her, I see your every move, and I can control it.
Oh, okay.
But if it's subconscious, it reveals something far deeper. They are so perpetually focused on each other that their peripheral vision, their movements, even their breathing patterns have synchronized.
Either way, their gaze is entirely consumed by the other. It's like this constant low-grade performance art.
It sounds exhausting, doesn't it? Imagine having your rival not just watch your productivity, but observe how you drink your coffee, or shift in your chair.
They're always operating under a microscope. And this leads directly to the HR game, where they actively weaponize corporate policy.
Yes, they both keep a meticulous log of the other's supposed transgressions. Lucy's is a password-protected document hidden on her personal drive.
And she meticulously catalogs events that are, they're less professional misconduct and more just personal slights.
Right, like Joshua calling her shortcake or that really inappropriate comment he made about her dating life. I've seen what a bad drought can do to someone.
That line is so sharp. It's an insult disguised as a casual observation, and it proves he's been watching her personal life too. But why the HR log? Why not just fight back immediately?
Because the HR log is a formal structure for containing their intense emotional venting. It turns childish insults and highly charged sexual banter into evidence.
So they're trying to professionalize their hostility?
Exactly.
Huh.
But what they're actually doing is keeping these meticulous, documented records of their shared life and their emotional impact on each other. It's a proxy for intimacy.
A shared scrapbook of their negative interactions.
It is, and they hold a potential key to each other's career destruction,
Yeah.
yet neither one ever deploys it. That shared risk is a powerful bond.
That makes perfect sense. It's like a stalemate, a nuclear deterrence model applied to office rivalry.
And we see the intensity peak during the staring game. It culminates in those intense, silent moments where they feel they join each other in a dark, 3D computer realm.
That phrase is so specific, a dark, 3D computer realm. It suggests this highly synchronized, isolated space cutting out the rest of the world.
It's almost a moment of shared hallucination, where their psychological warfare becomes their reality, deeply isolating and mutually intense.
And this fixation quickly escalates into actual espionage with the code of the planner.
Yes. Driven by her need to understand her opponent, Lucy conducts this miniature covert investigation, photographing Joshua's planner while he's out of the office.
And this wasn't a casual glance. She was so determined to analyze the data that she photocopied the blurry image repeatedly to enhance the pencil marks.
Like evidence in a Cold War film.
She's operating at an FBI level of dedication just to figure out his calendar.
And the decoding process confirms the extent of their shared, documented rivalry. The planner, this highly professional tool, contains these strange personal marks.
A letter D, an S, a tally of 8, dots near lunchtime, 4 X's, 6 little slash marks. It's encrypted data about their relationship.
And what does she decode? The tally of 8 equals arguments. And the 4 X's. She suspects they are the HR log entries.
Which is astonishing. Joshua, the paragon of sterile professionalism, is documenting their arguments and potential HR violations in his day planner.
It confirms that the rivalry isn't a distraction from his job. It is an integrated, crucial, and scheduled part of his daily function. It's his most important project.
So let's look at how external factors immediately trigger this internal chaos. We have the mustard shirt day, her least favorite color, which just emphasizes his rigid schedule. But the appearance of Andy the courier, who flirts openly with Lucy, calls her lovely Luce, that triggers an instant intense reaction from Joshua.
Explosive, no contain. He just says, absolutely pathetic.
Which proves that his intense observation extends beyond the professional sphere. He is keenly judging and reacting to her social life.
This brings us back to the fundamental flirting dynamic. Lucy is described as being chronically addicted to making people adore you. She thrives on validation.
While Joshua is the opposite, addicted to making people hate you. He uses hostility as a protective shield.
They function as opposing poles, and the tension generated between them is the only thing that seems to truly engage them both.
And this tension, it frequently spills over into this highly charged double entendre territory, always masked as insults.
Right, like when Lucy complains about him dragging her down to his level, and Joshua replies,
And what level are you imagining me dragging you down to? Horizontal.
a jaw-dropping line. It instantly throws the entire dynamic into a different light.
And Lucy instantly notes that this comment instantly goes into the HR log. But the source material, it makes a point of describing the velvety quality of his voice and his biting of his lip.
This is pure, unadulterated attraction, masked by extreme verbal hostility. He is provoking her to get a high-intensity reaction because that is the only way they know how to interact.
So that shared friction is, ironically, the closest they can get to acknowledged intimacy.
Without compromising the defensive walls they've spent years building.
Okay, so while all this psychological warfare is ongoing, the ultimate driving engine of the conflict is the COO promotion. This role is the culmination of their entire rivalry, and the stakes are immediately defined by Lucy's declaration. If Joshua becomes my boss, I will have to resign.
The career stakes are existential for Lucy, and Joshua just elevates this commitment. He transforms it into a definitive wager,
He says, if you get the promotion, I promise to resign.
which signals either absolute confidence in winning or maybe a subconscious desire to guarantee the removal of one of them from that shared desk space, no matter the personal cost.
The internal politics are brutal, too. Helene, Lucy's CEO counterpart from Gammon, assures Lucy the process will be fair. They're using an independent panel of recruitment consultants.
Which is necessary because Mr. Bexley openly wants Josh for the job.
Right.
So the attempt to level the competitive playing field suggests that, culturally, the Bexley favoritism is still rampant.
We need to step back now and look at the contextual pressure driving them both, because it informs their extreme competitiveness.
Agreed. Lucy's identity is intrinsically linked to her background on a strawberry farm, Sky Diamond Strawberries.
That's where her nickname Shortcake comes from.
It is. And her professional drive is fueled by the fear that city jackasses like Joshua look down on her family as simple folk.
So winning isn't just a career achievement for her. It's a validation of her entire rural identity against the perceived snobbery of the corporate world.
And her parents, though they're sweet and supportive, treating her like a visiting celebrity when she Skypes them, they also unintentionally add pressure.
Right. They worry about her isolation and the loss of her friend Val, and they urge her to get out and live a little.
So this external demand to succeed professionally and personally adds significant weight to her existing stress.
And Joshua's pressure is far more insidious. It's tied directly to his family's definition of success. Mr. Bexley refers to him, often dismissively, as Dr. Josh.
A title of disrespect used to remind him of his failure.
His entire family, parents and brother, are successful doctors.
Exactly. So Joshua's career in publishing administration is viewed by them as a wasted opportunity, a failure to reach his medical potential. This pressure creates the rigid, driven, control-focused personality we see.
He has to succeed at B&G because he already failed at the path his family laid out for him.
This clash of external pressures sets the scene for Danny Fletcher's introduction. Danny, a Bexley from the cover design team, walks into the narrative as the total antithesis of Joshua.
He is the nice guy option.
Attractive, lean, in shape, but more importantly, he's attentive. He listens to her small talk about esoteric things like a Da Vinci documentary.
He's uncomplicated, safe, and available.
But the sources reveal Lucy's true motivation for the date is purely strategic.
I set a date with Danny primarily to save face against Joshua, hiring him to be her date to prove she isn't lying about having a social life.
It's a move in the game, designed to get a reaction from her rival.
Which is immediately and catastrophically complicated by the first kiss.
Yes. In the elevator, just before she can execute her strategy with Danny, Joshua leans in, and they share this intense, shocking kiss, disguised as bumping the intercom.
The sheer physical force of that moment throws her into chaos, and his justification. I needed to test a theory I've had for a while.
That is the weakest defense for a spontaneous, highly charged act I have ever heard.
Right. What possible theory could justify years of repressed hatred culminating in an elevator ambush?
The theory, of course, is that they weren't rivals at all, but two people drowning in attraction. But he has to intellectualize it. For Joshua, emotional actions have to be framed as rational experiments.
And that single incident makes it impossible for Lucy to proceed with her nice guy date without an immediate involuntary comparison.
The hating game just melted down into the or something game.
So the game now is just to figure out what that something is.
And the date with Danny instantly confirms the devastating impact of that elevator kiss. Lucy finds kissing Danny
Like kissing a cousin, all wrong.
all wrong. The experience is ruined entirely because she is subconsciously measuring it against Joshua's unexpected intensity.
Her internal monologue is so definitive she can't focus because it was like Joshua was sitting at a third chair at our romantic little table watching, judging.
And she recognizes immediately that Joshua won the kiss competition.
Right. Which establishes that despite years of hostility, the physical and emotional chemistry with him is just far superior and totally undeniable.
Joshua's reaction to the confirmed date with Danny is just as telling. When he sees her the next day, the facade of indifference, it just cracks entirely.
He's shocked and flustered. He drives her home in the stunned silence.
Her dating life affects him deeply. It proves that he views her, even subconsciously, as his territory.
The emotional whiplash continues the very next day. First, Joshua apologizes. and not one of their usual sharp, calculated apologies.
No, this is a genuine, heartfelt one.
Mhm.
He says, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, Lucy.
And then the grand gesture. A huge bouquet of lipstick red roses. The color is so important. Lipstick red, symbolizing intimacy and femininity.
And the card contains only 3 words. You're always beautiful.
It's a complete shift from overt hostility to overt admiration. It signals that his internal walls are beginning to fail.
And the ultimate emotional turning point is accelerated by Lucy's total physical collapse at the paintball team building event.
Right. The intense competitive and psychological pressure they've been under for years finally manifests physically.
She is violently ill and develops a severe fever, reaching a dangerous 105.6 degrees Fahrenheit.
And this illness is the mechanism for the dramatic, necessary role reversal.
Joshua transforms from antagonist into an intensely compassionate caretaker. He takes her home, and the sources detail his actions meticulously. He cleans her incredibly messy apartment, which she secretly calls the igloo.
He changes her into her pajamas, finding her beloved Sleepysaurus top.
He sits with her through the night, even folding a dishcloth just to fill the awkward silence.
This profound act of caretaking completely reveals his decent human being side, a side she believed didn't even exist.
He even exposes a crack in his personal fortress by calling in his brother, Patrick Templeman, the actual Dr. Templeman, to examine Lucy.
Right. He confirms she's suffering from fever and paintball bruises.
And while she's delirious, Lucy eavesdrops on a private conversation that exposes Joshua's deepest vulnerabilities.
She overhears Patrick insisting Joshua attend his wedding, revealing this immense family tension. The issue here is timing. I'm asking you to come to my wedding and make your mother happy.
It proves his rigid professional life is being challenged by equally rigid family obligations.
And most crucially, she hears him try to distance himself from her while revealing his underlying sadness and self-protection. He says, she's not my girlfriend. We work together.
But then he confesses, yeah, well, she's more on the market for a nice guy, aren't they all?
Which confirms he wants her, but his deeply negative self-perception tells him he can never be the nice guy she deserves. He preemptively rejects himself.
The fever also forces Lucy to reveal the depth of her fixation. Still delirious, she recites his entire sequence of shirts, including their specific names.
White, off-white stripe, cream, non-gender specific yellow, disgusting mustard, baby blue, robin's egg, dove gray, navy black. She even knows the brand, Hugo Boss.
It's extraordinary. She knows his clothing better than anyone in the world.
And this is where their obsessions intersect perfectly. Joshua recognizes her fixation, but responds by offering his own vulnerability.
With a wistful, lonely look, he cajoles her into talking about the strawberry farm. This isn't just curiosity. It's a desire to understand the root of her identity, the place she truly loves.
And he confesses his own long-term emotional investment. He admits he has not only Googled directions to Skydiamond Strawberries and looked up flights, but he believes it is the best place I can imagine.
For Joshua, the farm represents an escape, peace, and authenticity, everything his corporate pressure cooker life lacks.
The section culminates in the explicit confession of mutual simmering attraction. Lucy admits the elevator kiss was hot.
And Joshua responds by laying out his ultimate intent, revealing his long-term investment and why he can't have just a casual relationship with her.
I haven't wanted you this long and gone through so much and given up so much to have you for one night. It's not enough.
The game is completely breaking down. He wants a commitment that matches the depth of their rivalry. So following the fever episode, their intimacy continues, even as they struggle to redefine their relationship outside of the hating game.
Right. Lucy tries to apologize for throwing him out after his caretaking, and she notices he tidied her apartment and left her a packaged Matchbox car.
She interprets the Matchbox car as this deliberate message, a subtle reproach for her focus only on his body or sexuality during their flirtation.
It's a reminder that he has this hidden, complex internal life beyond the buttoned-up shirt.
And her response is a reciprocal act of intimate competition. She sends him off white roses, the color that starts his shirt sequence.
With a card. I want you for more than your body. I want you for your Matchbox cars. Shortcake.
The symbols, the car, the roses, the nicknames, are now their language of affection, replacing the HR log entries.
But despite this personal breakthrough, Joshua forces her to join him at his brother Patrick's wedding as his +1. He argues she made a commitment to provide moral support.
It's disguised in the language of obligation, but it's a plea for emotional backup to navigate his difficult family dynamics. He is essentially making her his shield,
The wedding introduces the formidable Templeman family dynamics, which we really need to analyze carefully as they explain Joshua's entire approach to life.
Mm-hmm. We meet Anthony Templeman, the father. He's a stately silver fox, who is also called the cutter, the surgeon.
And he treats Joshua with this distant seriousness and remains completely unimpressed by his publishing career.
Anthony's coldness reinforces the central conflict in Joshua's life. He is viewed by the patriarch as a disappointment for failing to pursue medicine. This is the source of the relentless pressure and control we see Joshua exercise at B&G.
He's desperately seeking validation in a field his father views as secondary.
Elaine Templeman, the mother, provides a necessary contrast. She is warm and immediately supportive. She's going to love you, absolutely love you.
She's visibly relieved to see him with someone.
And this dichotomy highlights his lifelong struggle. The need to please the cold, critical father versus the comfort he gets from his warm, validating mother.
And we learn the root of Joshua's internal ranking. He is the spare. His dad heir.
Joshua admits it is impossible for him to hate Patrick, who is the constant source of their father's validation. This relationship explains why Joshua is always fighting for second place in his father's eyes.
But the ultimate revelation at the wedding is the identity of the bride.
Yes, Patrick is marrying Mindy, Joshua's ex-girlfriend.
Which explains everything. Joshua's immense stress, his need for Lucy's moral support, the family's speculative glances, and Anthony's coldness.
For Anthony, the Mindy-Patrick wedding is the ultimate validation of Patrick's perfection. It confirms that Patrick took everything Joshua had, including the woman he loved.
Mindy provides crucial context. She says she and Patrick just clicked after the merger while she was dating Josh because Josh was distant and hard to talk to.
It confirms that Joshua's protective mechanism, emotional distance, has historically cost him the relationships he valued most.
But she also drops the crucial insight that Patrick was surprised by Lucy's appearance. He said he had never seen Josh look like he has a heart, until Lucy.
Which confirms that Lucy has succeeded where Mindy and the rest of the professional world failed.
Yeah.
She has fundamentally cracked Joshua's protective exterior, a transformation noticed by everyone who truly knows him.
And this accumulation of knowledge, her understanding of his family trauma and his tendency towards self-sabotage, combines with Anthony Templeman's continued disdain for Joshua's career. And this triggers Lucy's climactic lioness defense.
This is the critical moment. During the wedding breakfast, Lucy furiously confronts Anthony Templeman, defending Joshua's professional integrity, not just as a colleague, but as a person.
And her defense is so powerful because it uses facts she only knows due to their intense, intimate, antagonistic working relationship.
She reveals that Josh recommended the painful 35% workforce reduction not out of malice, but to save 120 remaining jobs at B&G.
He took the blame and the public perception of being the henchman to ensure the company's long-term survival.
And she asserts that his career choice is a deliberate choice, not a failure, defending him as a fucking hard-ass who keeps it all running. She essentially reframes his villainy as profound, personal, and professional sacrifice.
The implication of this dramatic public defense is staggering. Lucy understands and values Joshua's professional sacrifice far more than his own family does. This moment transcends rivalry.
It cements her position as his fiercest ally and is essentially her true public declaration of love and respect. She saw past the shirts and the insults to the man who was silently saving jobs. So following that wedding confrontation, the final emotional conflict revolves around their or something game. Joshua finally sits her down and reveals the fundamental motivation behind the hating game.
He answers the question that defined their entire shared professional lives.
And the reason for the years of conflict.
I couldn't. If I'd let myself smile back and be friends with you, I probably would have fallen in love with you.
And then he confirms the enduring truth that overrides all the hostility. I never have hated you, not for a second. I have always loved you.
This is the ultimate synthesis of our deep dive. The hating game was a high-stakes, protective barrier. He needed that constant wall of hostility to prevent emotional vulnerability and potential heartbreak.
Especially given his family history of professional and romantic rejection. The hostility was necessary for him to function. A kind of emotional shock absorber against falling in love and potentially being hurt again.
It's fascinating how his intense need for control manifested as intense conflict. He chose sustained, predictable hostility over unpredictable, dangerous intimacy.
But the conflict itself became the intimacy, didn't it?
Absolutely. The level of detail required to maintain that rivalry, the constant observation, the psychological maneuvering, It became a twisted substitute for a real deep relationship. They knew each other better than spouses.
And the final piece of visual evidence cementing this long-term devotion is revealed through the color code.
Lucy notices the bedroom blue of his walls during their continued conversations about moving forward.
And Joshua confirms his bedroom color intentionally matches the blue of my eyes, Lucy's eye color.
He intentionally surrounded himself with the color of the woman he loved for years, admitting he thought he would be busted the moment you saw this room.
This isn't just attraction. It is subconscious adoration translated into interior design. It confirms her blue eyes were his private, preferred shade of blue, the prettiest color in his world.
And the emotional resolution is immediately followed by the professional one, which is the ultimate sacrifice in this high-stakes context. Joshua drops the bombshell.
I already resigned. My last day was Friday. He accepted a role at a client company, Bexley Books, Finance.
His rationale is clear and definitive, and it ties directly back to his earlier statement about wanting more than just one night.
I don't want anything that means I can't have you. There's nothing worth it.
Uh-huh.
He chose the person and the potential for a personal life over the title and the career trajectory his father demanded.
And the resignation does something else brilliant. It effectively secures the COO role for Lucy by removing her only credible rival.
It proves that he was never truly trying to beat her. He was forcing her to achieve her dream while ensuring he could remain in her life without the corrosive rivalry.
He even revealed this to his new employer. He said, "I disclose that I'll be in love with the soon-to-be chief operating officer of B&G."
That is confidence in her ability and absolute commitment to their future.
The hating game is officially and dramatically over. The scorecard has been thrown away, and they agree to start a new game. The starting over game.
And the aim of this new game, for both of them, is simply for you to love me. The dynamic shifts from competition and antagonism to collaboration and mutual affection, fulfilling years of unspoken desire. What an incredible synthesis of source material. This deep dive revealed that the entire saga, the daily insults, the obsessive logs, the physical proximity, it was all a masked form of powerful attraction and mutual obsession. For the competition itself acted as a form of high-intensity intimacy that matched the emotional complexity of their internal lives.
Absolutely. The fact that the details were so meticulously cataloged, the shirt colors, the HR log, the planner code, it confirms their emotional relationship was profound. It was established through mutual fixation long before they ever admitted the attraction.
Joshua used the games and hostility as a high-stakes protective barrier, because for him, a typical gentle relationship wouldn't have matched the intensity of his internal life or his history of relational disappointment.
And Lucy, in her lioness defense, showed that she didn't just want the title or the win. She wanted to defend the vulnerable, good man she saw beneath the ruthless corporate henchman facade. She validated his life's work in a way his father never would.
She really did.
And here is a final provocative thought for you, the learner. We've seen how professional success, the COO role, the prestige, the win, became entirely secondary to personal connection. So if you look at the dynamics in your life right now, what competitive dynamic or what relationship defined by intense friction might actually be an intimate bond waiting to be unlocked?
And what professional or personal sacrifice would it take for you to prioritize that connection over the win?
Something to consider as you navigate your own professional battlefield.